What is this businesswoman outfit? She's a businesswoman. Businesswoman outfit.
Thank you so much for coming. Oh my God, get your phones out and take pictures now. We flew in today from Tribeca. We showed the film. Me and Nick introduced the film at 1 p.m. in New York, and then flew here and I got in speed drag for you guys.
Knew it.
Okay, so guys, I know we're about to have the most fun you've ever had sitting down. Are you ready? If you have questions, here at Hot Dogs Theater, we have microphones and we'll pass them to you. All you have to do is put your hand up nice and high on the balcony. If you have a question, you need to come down to the front corner at the exit sign and just keep them coming. We have 30 minutes.
No.
Don't jump. We're not going to catch you. It's a trust fall. Don't trust us. So Trixie and Nick, maybe can you tell us a bit about your love story? Why was Nick the one to tell this story, and why was Trixie the drag queen to document?
Yes, you take that.
Pass. That was a pass on the first question.
Yes. I gotta think of why I love you. Give me time.
Well, Trixie and I really got to know each other for the first time while I was making this, but Trixie's boyfriend is a producer who I actually went to film school with. I don't want to tell you how long ago, and so you guys were talking about how it would be a really amazing time to start documenting your life, and David thought that I would be the right person to do that, I think because I'm so sensitive.
He is sensitive, and like we were basically like, my manager at the time and my boyfriend were like, you're about to, okay. He brought an audience applause track for me. For drag queens, I was about to have like Amy Schumer's 2015. I was about to do things drag queens had never done. And everyone was like, well, why don't you get it recorded somehow? And so David, my boyfriend who's a film producer, was like, I don't know if I ever told you this, he was like, I went to college with this guy, Nick, and he was almost like embarrassingly, discouragingly talented at everything. He was so good at making this type of film, and so you were like the choice. And it was great, thank you. And it was great because David and Nick have like this deep, deep trust, and obviously having my boyfriend on the other end of the camera was also obviously just like opened up a lot of things.
Yeah, I think that was part of it too. It's like, this is a really intimate movie, and I don't think it could have happened with like a big film crew or with somebody who you didn't trust. And so I think that David and I had an existing relationship. There was like trust going in, and it was really fun, I hope, for both of us, to get to know each other.
And the great thing about Nick was he's extremely like interested in all types of people, and he didn't know really anything about drag or the fandom of Drag Race. So he was a great person to watch things for the first time. If you were a super fan of Drag Race, you wouldn't realize how many things someone who knew nothing about drag would like, wait, what did they say? Where are they? Who is that? You know? I think Nick was good at that.
Yeah, it was super exciting because I was a fan of like season 3 and 4. And
But thank
you. Me too, though.
Yeah, I was totally a fan, and then I was like, it just sort of like left my brain. And then sort of seeing where it had gone in those years in between, that I sort of had lost touch of it. I was like, holy shit.
Do you feel offended that when you stopped watching, it got really big? Like, people were like, finally that lame guy's gone. Yeah.
Do we have questions from the audience? Oh, I'm not in charge of handing out the microphones. So did you guys like the film? This is your chance. Usually I'm such a mic hog. Like, I'm being so generous with you guys, okay? So get up off your tush.
There's a guy.
Yeah, go. He's got a
Hi, Trixie.
microphone.
Hi, Nick.
You guys up there in the balcony can't see him, but he's like a guy.
He's wearing black.
He's waving like he might be gay. It's Nick.
Thank you so much for that, really intimate documentary at times, especially things probably your fans haven't seen before, sort of complicated relationships, you have with your family, your mother, and especially with Katya during that really, difficult time for both of you. That being said, your beauty and your fame has allowed you to, take part in different types of productions, whether it's performing live, filming a really structured TV show, to doing DragCon. What was it about this genre? Documentary filming is a new sort of means of production for you. What was it about taking part in this genre that you found the most sort of surprising or unexpected? And for both of you.
Yeah, I just have to say this. You guys saw the film. Can you believe the entire film is one camera and it's only Nick the whole time? One camera. One camera! I mean, drag queens, we like to act like everything. We like to act like there's a whole team behind us. Now that you guys have seen this movie, you know that it is fucking Wild West, bitch. We're not real celebrities with like real teams. Nick was literally like staying in my house on the couch, sleeping with his camera. Like, that's part of why it was so intimate, is because there was very little production. Like, Nick was with Trixie Mattel for months and months and months. So, honestly, a lot of the really intimate stuff, I just got such a trust with Nick, I actually forgot about my own boundaries. I forgot about certain things in the film that I make a point to never talk about. A lot of things you guys have never heard me talk about, because I never want to. But in this film, I just got so comfortable that, it's very vulnerable.
And Nick, this was your first feature documentary. Like, what was it like to sleep on the couch?
It was exhausting.
Tell me everything.
That is a custom couch, though. It's a comfortable couch. It's custom.
I slept well, but truly it was exhausting. I mean, I've made some short documentaries before, and you usually are done a lot more quickly. This took a really long time, and I'm sure some people make short documentaries in the amount of time that it took us to make this, but those people, I don't know what they're doing.
He's calling you slow, Trixie.
Well, also, in this, there was something new happening every week. I mean, as you guys saw, it was like one day we recorded my entire album in 6 days. The next week we were in Europe touring. The next week we were filming. It was like every day was either like the best day ever or the worst day ever.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, when we were talking about what kind of moving image would even be useful to have out there, because you have TV shows of multiple kinds and, so much different type of media, we thought, something just where I turn on the camera and we see what happens and we just record like truth. Like we sort of take away the pain. And so just going out there and filming was the way we approached it. And so that to me it was really actually very tiring by the end. It was nice to take the camera off my shoulder.
Yeah, and also like I'm a drag queen, so when the project came up, you guys, the project I envisioned was like, oh my god, I'm a drag queen, let me just get like some body glitter and some hair clips and like, let's make a movie. And drag queens are creatures of vanity, so we envision this film to be like a Justin Bieber experience, where it's just like a music video about how cool I am. But I'm actually very thankful that this was David and Nick's film and I was the subject. I was never in on any conversations of what was about, what was going on, so that I could just be Trixie and let them make their movie. And I'm really happy we did that, because I would have never known that this was going to be the tone and that people were going to take so much from it. Because again, I'm a fag. I was just like, pom-poms, yes,
This is like in between the Netflix show when it goes to black and you just see your face.
Totally from this angle, like, this is that moment where Netflix goes, are you still watching? Really? And honestly, it's sort of like when you have a Tinder and you're like, well, what do I write about myself? Having somebody else tell you, this experience was having somebody else tell me, this is exactly how you are in a way where you could never see it. It was like good and bad and very, it was honestly like, that's why I didn't sit in the theater with you guys. It's like you're looking at naked pictures of me or something.
I have those, yeah.
There was a lot of nude scenes cut, sorry to disappoint you.
It's in the sequel, that's for the DVD. We have questions, I'm sure.
Hi, at 90 minutes you hit a lot of big topics in your life, and I was wondering whether or not there were certain aspects that you did film that you weren't able to make the film, or stuff that you didn't actually say during the course of the film that you kind of wish you could have filmed to put in the final product.
Yeah, we shot like hundreds of hours.
So much.
So, literally. So, and it's 90 minutes, and so figuring out how to put that into a story was pretty complicated. you know, it doesn't have like a traditional beginning, middle, and end, but to a degree, I wanted it to feel like there was some closure. And so, you know, we didn't know going into it how big a part the friendship, the relationship with Katya was going to be. Obviously, we were just filming.
Oh, David and Nick came like to get B footage of me and my friend having a great day at work. And in true drag fashion, like nothing ever goes right. I mean, that's sort of the spirit of this film is like, you set up for things to go well, but it doesn't always happen. That day especially, I remember it was sort of a question of, do we keep filming? But also, Viceland and World of Wonder, there were so many cameras on set. We were one of many. It was like, where does real life, where do we decide that we're not filming this, you know?
Yeah, and then also in the edit, it's like, how much do we want to include this? How much is this going to be something that really drives the story? And I think we sort of landed on something that was very honest. It's just, the relationship was something that affected almost all of these other major aspects of your life at the time. And so I don't want to be crude and be like, oh, we use this as a framing device. It was just kind of the one through line. And so, you know, I would say that that's where we sort of had the most back and forth about how much to include and not to include.
Yeah, and when Brian and I saw the certain sections, obviously that we all are talking about, it was uncomfortable for both of us. It was one of the worst days of our lives, and it was recorded. And so we watched it. It was horribly uncomfortable to watch. What was important to both of us is we watched it and we were like, well, that felt exactly like it felt in the room. Nobody was mad, nobody was sad. It was just two friends and a team being like, what do you do? There's no handbook for this. Like, there's not even a handbook for drag queens doing this type of show, even if it's going well. Do you know what I mean? So it was important to both of us that no matter what, it was extremely honest, and you guys felt like you were in the room, and it is chilling how much it is exactly that.
And what does Brian, Katya think, like, did she get a chance to see the film, and how involved was she in her own scenes and just sort of vetting what to share and what not to share?
She saw like an earlier cut that had a lot more footage even of that. And we watched it together, and she was really at peace with it. She was like, that's how it was. And that was all we both cared about. It was like, is it exactly how it was? I mean, it was such a hard time, it was so long ago. A lot of that stuff we don't even remember happening. If it wasn't on film, you know, when you and your friend reconcile, you let go of so much. And so, you know.
Yeah, I was really surprised by how she was just like, that's what it was, you know? I sort of thought that she would be, I was afraid to show her.
Oh, we were sitting in my management office with a lukewarm Diet Coke, like, let's watch. You know, but I'm really proud of David and Nick because at no time, I don't know you guys, at no time did that scene ever feel generous or exploitative. It felt honest, and frankly, in gay world, substance abuse and mental health is such an issue, and no one talks about it. Cutting it out of the film would be worse. Yeah. And it's never been me or Katya's style. If you watch her YouTube series or anything, it's never been our style to withhold from you guys. So, you know, we have that kind of honesty with an audience all the time.
Another question, downstairs. Yep.
Hi, so first things first, my friend Liz, I actually got her these tickets for her birthday, and I'm just gonna like humble brag for it. Could you just wish her a happy birthday?
Why don't we sing?
Yes.
Want to sing?
Doesn't matter how famous you get, there's always gonna be a white girl who's like, it's my birthday.
We need to see ID. Show us ID.
Oh God. Is there a bachelorette here too? No, happy birthday, that's really cool. That's really cool.
So my question was, I know a lot in the documentary you focus on how when you were on like Drag Race and all the other shows, you were saying like one thing you don't like about it is being judged. But I find that with documentaries, when you're filming it, it opens up a lot of room for judgment, a lot of room. Like I know you were saying you didn't want judgment to be a main focus in your documentary style. But do you find that exposing your inner life like this, the most authentic self, etc., whatever other catchphrase you want to put on like a Tumblr, do you find that it inspires more judgment, more sympathy, or how do you deal with that?
Well, the movie's only been out for a couple days. Honestly, I haven't even watched people watch it. I don't know what any of the audiences have thought of me afterward versus what they thought coming in. But the great thing about drag is comedy and music is a great way to tell your truth secretly. And this film it's a clean blade cutting straight through the skin into the most real. This is further and more like honest than anything I've ever been in. And that's the way when I watch it, it makes me uncomfortable. I'm like, well, that must mean I'm doing the right thing. Because if it was me editing, I'm a drag queen. I'd be like, let's face tune that. Let's put a corset on that. And this is very real. And it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I think authenticity is a big part of this movie. It's sort of like, when is being in drag, when can that actually be more authentic? Or when is it just a hindrance to authenticity? And I think there are a lot of times when we see you on stage where you're incredibly authentic.
Completely.
And so...
No, really. I mean, in drag, I think when I'm on stage, any of you guys, like I was in Toronto this year doing a show. Were you guys here for Moving Parts, the show? Yeah. So that's me, and you can tell from the jokes and the music, you can link true things to me. But in this, you see all the truth, and then you see how it links to the music and the jokes. So this is more like seeing it from the inside out. Whereas drag is more like